I'm Maria, and I'm from Chile. We basically have three type of schools. We have the public schools, which are publicly financed and administered. We have kind of what here are charter schools, which are publicly funded but privately administered. And we have private schools. Our education system is based on voucher system. So in the public and in the charter schools, every child has a voucher. So theoretically, they can go to whatever school they want to go. In practice, that doesn't always function like that, because there are both students choosing schools and schools choosing students. So our education system is really stratified. I think that's the major challenge of our system today. We invest a lot in education, mostly private funding. Like, if you see the total amount we spent as a country in education, it's more of within the ranges of, I don't know, OECD countries. But the differentiation between public funds and private funds, it's huge. So in our country, families are the ones that are investing more in education instead of the government. Let's say, I don't know, a decade ago, the government established this priority voucher. Before, like a decade ago, we have an equal voucher to every child, no matter the background of the student. And now we differentiate between vulnerable children and every other children. So those vulnerable children, we call them priority children, priority students. They get a little bit more, a larger amount in voucher. But our charter schools are not taking those students. So these vulnerable children are still going to the public schools, and everyone else is going to these charter schools, if you know what I mean. So the small, rich children are going to the private, like middle class are going to charters, and low-income family children are going to public schools. That's our general situation right now. But once we return to democracy, there hasn't been done that much to overcome all of the inequity that we have in our society. So I don't know if you know, but for the last 2 years, there has been a student movement towards education. I think that's one of the most important things, to demand this reform from the people, if you want, right? So if the government don't want to, or it's always going to be reduced to this political will, right? So now with this student elite movement, we have this conversation about what's going on in education in Chile, and that's the first step. Ready for a professional career, critical thinking, and sense of community.